What is the difference between cannabis and marijuana?
There is no difference. It's just a different name for the same product.
Ah, I didn't realize that. Okay. I know there are a ton of business opportunities for people. Can you talk about them?
Well, there are several different licenses that are available or people can apply for now in New Jersey. There's 6 different licenses from cultivation, retail, manufacturing, which would be tinctures and oils, and some they call them lozenges, but they're actually like gummy bears,
Mhm.
basically, and other things like wholesaling and distribution and things like that that are a little bit less sexy.
And can I do one of those things? Do I have to do all of those things?
It depends. No, you don't have to do all of them. You can do one of them. The law is kind of specific about which licenses can be combined with other licenses. So, like the retail, if you're going to open up a retail store, like just a store, you can't apply for any other licenses at this point. And so it's just you can combine, you can kind of mix and match them, but
Okay.
not. But retail is separate.
Okay. It sounds really complicated.
The application process is very complicated. It really is. I actually just finished a couple of them, and think about like the cramming for final exams in college, pulling all-nighters and things like that. It's very complex. The regulation is very complex. The document requirements is I mean, hundreds of documents, and it's
Wow.
yeah, it's not a user-friendly process. Let's just put it
Hmm.
that.
Can anyone apply?
Realistically, you have to understand that this is a business.
Mhm.
It's not just like, oh, I used to grow a plant in my closet when I was in college, kind of thing. That's not going to be able to get you into the cannabis business. So there are so many requirements. Yes, anyone can apply, assuming that they meet all of the different qualifications that are specified in the statute. But realistically, if you don't have the business sense and the finances, frankly, to be able
Mhm.
to handle that, then it's a significant investment. It's not something that is for the faint of heart, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. It's really just like opening a business.
It's opening a business like any other business, except there is this enormous regulatory structure on top of it, that you have to comply with, which you might not have to comply with in other businesses. So if you're going to open up I would go along like saying like opening a liquor store, you have to get liquor licenses and comply with those regulatory, structures there. Cannabis is sort of similar in the sense that it's a business, but you also have to comply with all the regulatory requirements.
Sure. And those requirements are so new. I imagine
Yes.
they're evolving, changing.
There's new guidance being issued by the CRC, which is the Cannabis Regulatory Commission. There's new guidance being issued, practically daily. And it is a little bit daunting to keep up with because, the regulations are developed, but generally after a certain point, you get some sense of how it's going to work, but that can often take years when you're talking about other types of statutes. In this situation, it's the regulations were issued, and then bang, we're accepting applications. So we're all kind of, feeling our way forward a little bit. But that's what makes it interesting. It's a little bit like practicing in the Wild West.
There you go. Very exciting. All right. So if I decide I'm game, I'm in. I want to throw my hat in the ring. What's the first step?
Well, the first step is to obtain, you have to obtain municipal approval for your location. That's the first step before you apply. I mean, that's the idea. There's ways to not do that, but ultimately you're going to need to have approval for the municipality that you want to locate in. And that comes with its own set of problems because what I've been finding is that, even though 70% of New Jersey citizens voted to legalize cannabis, a lot of municipalities are fine with it as long as it's someplace else. So it's very much like a NIMBY, not in my backyard type of a thing. And people don't really understand what the business is going to look like, what it's going to be like. It's not people, it's not drug dealers standing on the corner, like pushing pot on your children. It's a very, very, very regulated business, so there's part of what we do is to bring some education to the town councils and to the people who are making those decisions about issuing resolutions of support for a particular business, and helping them understand what kind of impact this is actually going to have on their community, which is basically none. So
really, that's great.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And if I wanted to start a business, am I too late?
Oh, no, they're accepting applications on a rolling basis now. It's kind of first come, first serve, basically. But there's some, differences in the way people are processed depending on, certain qualifications like minority women-owned business certification, things like that.
Great.